and the truth get exposed. Let's talk about it. X-Rated Sports Network.
If it's game time talk, we the ones who connect.
X-Rated Sports Network.
Where the hot takes live and the truth get checked. East Coast talk, West Coast swagger. Stats on the board, yeah, the debate get louder. No filter talk, yeah, we calling the play. If it's sports conversation, we leading the way. From the hardwood to the gridiron plays. Breaking every matchup, every headline debate.
X-Rated Sports Network.
Yeah, remember the name.
We all made it through the weekend, and we are back. It's Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. In our lower left, we have our two guys in our LA studios, of course, Dr. X, our creator, our founder, our patriarch, one of the top sports medicine radiologists in America. A.M. Pfeffer in our LA studios with him. Dwight Walton, Canadian basketball legend. He is lower right. I am Rick Kamla, and we're Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. What's up? We have Olympic gold medalist Chris Marlowe on the show. You probably know him as the Nuggets TV play-by-play guy on Altitude Sports. I go way back with Chris. He has a phenomenal, long broadcasting and playing career in volleyball. The guy's an amazing dude, and we'll have him on at 3 p.m. Eastern time to talk more in depth about the Nuggets. And I'm still feeling some kind of way about Wemby's DNP in that game, and that's where I will start with Chris Marlowe. But fellas, he plays against everybody else and then ducks Jokic in Denver. Not into it. Play the game. Wemby, by the way, I think can miss 2 more games and still be eligible for MVP. But guys, we have breaking news, and it's exciting. The NBA is going to vote on expanding to Seattle and Las Vegas, and it's going to happen. Okay.
Oh,
the
yeah.
NBA is going to, right. They're going to hold a vote, board of governors, and the 2 franchises are being targeted to play in 28-29. So a couple of years out from here. There's been momentum building with the board of governors in the league office to approve these 2 franchises because of their market size, the revenue they can generate. Shams reported that it's being estimated $7 to $10 billion to buy in for these franchises. 2 great markets, obviously. The Sonics, it looks like guys are going to be back. They played in the NBA from 1967 to 2008, some of the dopest gear in NBA history, but they had a dispute about the lease at Key Arena. Clay Bennett said it was outdated. He said, we're going to OKC. That arena's undergone serious renovations, and the NHL team plays there, of course, the WNBA's Storm play there. And there's going to be realignment here, guys. Minnesota or Memphis are expected to move to the Eastern Conference, and I don't know which one will. This is the first time the league has expanded since 2004. So that's the setup, guys. Let's bring in Dr. X right here. And fellas, here's the question. Which of these 2 are you most excited about? Because we can't debate Kansas City or Louisville or, you know what I mean? It's Vegas and Seattle. I mean, that's a no-brainer here. So the question is, which of these 2 cities are you more excited about getting an NBA team? Doc, you go first.
Man, I think Vegas only because we've seen Seattle, what that looks like. I've been to the city of Seattle. My team has played there. We actually swept the Seattle Superhawks, as they were called, or Seahawks, whatever they're called, in the TBL. But all that said, it's a nice town, and people that were going to that game were walking in with Seattle Supersonic gear. So I know their fan base is already built. I think for 2 reasons. I would say for one reason, I like Seattle because I know their fan base is like a real fan base. It's not going to be like some fair weather fans that are just going there to see an NBA game or you're just traveling in. I think Vegas is cool because for the basketball fan in general, when we're in Vegas, maybe that's another thing to do now, instead of seeing the O show or Summer League or something like that, we have another reason to go to Vegas. But I just feel like the fan base isn't going to be as dialed in, and they might have like a Miami vibe. I know some people think Miami Heat culture and all this other stuff, but they've had a reputation for having some fair weather fans that are not really diehard, fans. And so I just feel like, at any given day, it might be another fan base that goes in there and takes over. You know what I mean? So, but I would say for a fan base, I would say Seattle is going to really be the one that will be, a dialed-in fan base versus, Las Vegas. But I know Dwight and I would love to go over there and check out Vegas. It's only like 45-minute, 50-minute flight, JSX.
Yep.
And that should be fun. Yep. And I'll go. That'll probably be another flight I'll take just to see the Knicks play or see another team that's up in the standings play. We see Wemby play against Vegas. So I really don't know, honestly, Rick. There's two reasons. I'm just happy for Seattle getting their team back. But I think I'm really more excited about Vegas.
All right. Love the answer. Dwight Walton, you are next, my friend. A lot of reasons to be excited about both of these teams and cities. Which kind of intrigues you and excites you most?
Like my cousin, I'll straddle the fence on this one. But because I'm in LA a lot more often now, due to my partnership with my cousin, I look forward to those JSX flights from Los Angeles to Vegas to watch some games. If I happen to be in Vegas at the time they're playing against the Knicks, or if they're playing the Lakers, whomever they're playing, if we have the chance to go to Vegas, I'll look very much forward to it. My only question about Vegas, the infrastructure in the city. They rushed to build the football stadium, totally forgetting about the gridlock and the traffic towards the football stadium. So there's a lot of traffic there right now. They are fixing that as we speak, but as long as they have the infrastructure in place already in Vegas, I know they have the hockey team in that building, so everything seems to be okay. But of course, I'm excited for Vegas. Seattle's already had their pro team. They're coming back. If there's one franchise, one city, Adam Silver in the NBA don't have to worry about being excited about, is the Seattle market. Basketball is back. Seattle should have never left. They have their rightful place in the NBA infrastructure. But I'm excited for Vegas. They used football and hockey as the guinea pig to see if it would work. Now the NBA and I believe Major League Baseball is starting to come into the fray. They will have all four major sports in North America in that city. Has tourism died down a bit to Vegas? Some say yes. I don't think it really has. Sports belongs in Vegas. I know gambling is a major part of our sports as well, and there might be some controversy in that. But sports has been coming to Vegas for the last 20 years. The NBA is finally on board. I'm excited for that market because it's definitely going to work. And at the end of the day, it's Las Vegas, folks. That's why I think the majority will be a little bit more excited for the Vegas market than Seattle. Seattle has always been a part of the NBA family, although they haven't been for quite some time. We're just welcoming back a market that should be a part of the NBA family anyway.
Vegas and Vegas. AM is at 3 for 3.
Guys, AM Pfeffer loves himself some Vegas. I think 7 of the top 25 nights of my life have been in Las Vegas. Having said that, I'm much more excited about Seattle. Like, much more excited about Seattle. Let me give you my reasons why. Nothing bad about Vegas. You said all the right things, and I'm sure, Rick, you're going to say some more. But Seattle, to me, is one of these cities in America that does not get enough love. It's got like 1 million in population or just below, I think, in actual Vegas, or excuse me, actual Seattle. But you're talking about 4 million in and around the major area, the metropolitan area. That is a sizable number. It's an eclectic place, right? You've got a lot of different demographics up there. You can have like the titans of industry in Microsoft, and you can have like the chop and the chaz happening up in Seattle. Seattle is one of the coolest cities. People don't know about it. If you've never been up to the Pacific Northwest, get to Seattle. And I know nothing against Portland, but if you got to pick between the two, go to Seattle. Here's another thing about Seattle, guys, especially as an NBA fan. All right. It hurt my heart. I felt it the day they left Seattle and moved to Oklahoma City. I'm a historian. I'm born in 78, and I get it, right? Like, I was not alive, or I was alive. I was 1 year old when they won the championship. But go back and, like, the ABA and NBA had finally merged just a couple previous years. You know, Portland had the run, the Bullets had the run, and then it was Seattle's turn. Lenny Wilkins in 79. Gus Williams, like the leading scorer. I think Dennis Johnson.
In Mount Vernon.
There you go, man. Dennis Johnson, like he was MVP of those finals. Jack Sikma, if you don't know who he is, Paul Silas, like these are dudes. All right,
Downtown Freddie Brown, AM. Downtown Freddie Brown.
My man. I mean, no doubt. Like this is just the fabric of the NBA. And Seattle, I'm telling you, it is an incredible, beautiful, amazing city. They have the people to support it up there. The fan base is hungry to get them back. The arena is alive and kicking again. Like, if you've never been to a Mariners game, it's amazing. If you've never had like the fresh seafood up in Seattle, if you never spent any time or then made your way a little bit east, I know I'm an aristocrat, but if you never made your way at least to like the little wine country areas, driven all the way back through and done it, get yourself up to Washington. Seattle, you deserve this. You've been waiting a long time to have your basketball back. I hope it happens for you.
I'm looking up right now Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant is 37. Okay, so this is his age 37 season. Next year will be Durant's age 38. The year after that will be his age 39 season. 28-29, when these teams are going to be welcomed into the NBA, Kevin Durant will be 40 years old. Will he still be playing? Frankly, I would bet on it. I can't guarantee it, but he's a hooper. He's a baller. He loves this. Ben Simmons, take notes. But so he may be, but how cool would that be? I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. But how cool would that be? A 40-year-old Kevin Durant going back to Seattle with whatever team he's with at that point. It might be Houston. It might not. But that's kind of, AM, as you were talking, it was like 2008. I believe that was Durant's rookie year. First year in Seattle, and then bam, they went to OKC. And obviously he's had this long, incredible career. But to see KD go back to Seattle, if he's still playing at 40, is going to be a thing, a big thing. But that's 3 years out, okay? My answer is Vegas. So Vegas takes the win here. So it's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas. Come on, dude. I get excited about Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas more than any other city I've ever traveled to. Obviously NBA stuff, right? Summer League and just all that stuff. So I've been there a ton, and I love Las Vegas. I started going to Las Vegas probably in the late 90s. Obviously, what we currently know Vegas to be, it wasn't even imagined. Maybe it was. But you know what I'm saying? It was a completely different version of Vegas. The Strip was like kind of condensed, and now the Strip is just sprawling. Anyway, so like I go way back with Vegas, not way back, like A.M. Pfeffer with the Rat Pack, not that far back, okay? But I do. Vegas has a soft spot in my heart, and guys, I am not a gambler. I'm not a gambler. I'm not like this super party guy that's out till 5 a.m. That's not me. I just like the hustle and bustle. I like the lights, the electricity, all the restaurants, just the vibe, the energy. It's just, it's different. And I plug into it. So I'm a huge fan, especially when it's a combination of work and fun, right? You're out there working, you're in Vegas, and then bam, you just hit a cab and you're at like Nobu or something, some badass sushi place. It's just fun, dude. It's the entertainment capital of the world. And so that's reason number one. Reason number two, the Sphere. Okay, the Sphere is this colossal ball, and it's maybe the coolest music venue in the world. Okay, it's up there. It's top 5. You could talk about Red Rocks. You could talk about the Gorge in the Great Northwest. But the Sphere is amazing, and I haven't been there yet, guys. It's very, very high on my bucket list. There's word that there's going to be a Tool residency. I will not be missing that. And I guess Metallica is going to have a residency as well. So giddy up. The Grateful Dead obviously played there for many, many years, the John Mayer version of them. Number 3, Vegas has been the NBA's home away from home for years. They need an NBA team. It's only time, and it only makes sense. And guys, remember the whole thing about gambling? You can't have a team in Las Vegas because players are going to throw games. That was this narrative back in the day, right? Send that narrative back to the caveman era, please, okay? Think about this. Gambling's everywhere. It is jammed down our throats every time we watch a game. It's Underdog, it's Sleeper, it's Prize Picks, it's DraftKings, it's FanDuel. And God bless them. I'm not mad at them. It's just the way it is. But gambling's everywhere. So why wouldn't you have a team in Las Vegas? Maybe 20 years ago it could have been a problem. But think about this, guys. Jonte Porter, God bless him, ruined his career in a gambling scandal in Toronto. Okay, not Las Vegas. It happened in Toronto, which is about as far from Las Vegas as you could possibly get. All right. Number 4, guys, there is a huge story brewing on the Vegas side. According to reports, LeBron James is actively working to become the owner of a potential expansion team in Las Vegas. We know he's a billionaire. And so this is fascinating to me. And my question with this is, will Shaq be involved? Will Tom Brady be involved, right? Is it going to be this glitzy luxury box of like the greatest GOATs of all time, all owning the Las Vegas whoever's? Okay, so that's going to be a cool story to watch. And way better weather in Las Vegas than there is in Seattle. And so I say Vegas. All right. We've been kicking this around in the group chat. We've been seeing Wemby do his thing. Last week's episode was the BAM show. Okay, so we had to slide a lot of the stuff to this show, and rightly so. The question is Wemby the MVP right now? A little bit of setup against the Hornets on Saturday.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
Before the setup and why and while they pick that up, let's discuss really quickly which teams should be in the East Coast now. My pick is Minnesota.
Memphis.
I love it, Doc. Yes,
but
I love
if you draw that line straight down, technically the Pelicans could also be considered as well, because that line that goes from Minnesota way down to New Orleans. Obviously, Memphis is an East Coast team. Like that shouldn't even be a question.
Yep.
But I think just to add some more parity or just some more difficulty to the East Coast, with knowing Ant-Man will probably still be there, you got to put Minnesota in the East Coast at this point. What do you think? Minnesota versus Pelicans.
But cuz is that enough of a criteria because of a player? It should make
no. I mean, I was thinking of territory. I was thinking of geographical.
It should
but
make
they're
geographical
equal.
sense. Yeah, no, I get you.
But it's equal. Yeah, they're equal. So which one do you pick? I just hate the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans should just rot in the West Coast. we can't add Memphis. We can't add Memphis and the Pelicans. That would just be everybody would be running to the East.
They would. They would.
Yeah.
Pelicans have this history, right? The Charlotte, New Orleans, they already have that. Like, and you got Charlotte that's already in the East Coast. I say keep the Pelicans out west, but I like Minnesota in the East Coast as well. Because when you think of the Midwest, right, like every other Midwest team from Chicago to Indianapolis, I mean, right there, Minnesota's sitting right there, right? Milwaukee up in Wisconsin. It's close enough. They should be in the East.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let Rick Carlisle see Anthony Edwards 4 times a year.
So hold on. So because there's going to be 2 new teams in the Western Conference, that means 2 needs to go to the East, correct?
Yep.
I just did the math on that. I don't think so. Well,
okay.
Because so it's a little confusing, and you guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long weekend, but you got to go 16-16, right? You got to go 16-16 with the 2 conferences. So it's 15-15 right now. So if you subtract 1, say Minnesota, now in the West, you're down to 14 teams. Okay. Then you kick Minnesota to the East. They go from 15 to 16. And then you bring in Vegas and Seattle. And then that takes the West from 14 back to 16. So I don't think it's 2 teams. Again, correct me if I'm wrong on that math that I just explained.
2 teams. It's currently 30 teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like it's not like the 2 expansion teams are Ohio and Montreal. They're obviously West Coast teams. Like there's no way you could put Vegas and Seattle in the East Coast. So they're going to the West. So now you have, instead of 16 teams, you have 18 teams in the West Coast. So now you have to balance it back out. And I think you have to add 2 teams and push them over to the East. I think it's that clear.
That's right. It's that simple.
So to the Chicago point, it's going to be, because remember, Chicago used to be in the West and they got moved to the East. So from a geographical standpoint, I believe it's going to be Memphis and Minnesota that ends up going to the Eastern Conference.
Yep. I hope so.
Seems right.
But I have a sneaky suspicion that the Pelicans might end up there, and they want to keep Minnesota because that used to be the Lakers squad, the Minneapolis Lakers, which actually makes sense with the name. And I think it's something else they should discuss is these names need to start making sense. I know it'll never happen because the Lakers will always be the Lakers, but there's no lakes in Los Angeles that
and the Utah Jazz.
There are a lot of wizards in DC, so I think it that
the what?
There's a lot of wizards in the District of Columbia.
Yes.
So it does make sense.
But is there any Jazz in Utah, in Salt Lake City? I don't know.
No,
I think
it should
Jazz
be
is
New
maybe
Orleans
too
Jazz.
cool.
It should be the New Orleans Jazz.
Well, we know why.
Hey, Matt, we should all the XSN team, the BTS team, should fly out to Salt Lake City and find out. We had a great night out of Jazz there. Let's all go to Salt Lake and see what kind of Jazz they got there. Rick,
I'm game. I'm a little dubious of if there's good Jazz in Salt Lake City. Sorry, I don't know much about the city other than kind of what I've heard. But I've not heard that it is a
responsibility to find out.
I've not heard that Salt Lake City is an art mecca. Okay, I've not heard that, and I don't think I will. And that's typically where the Jazz is. But guys, for Minnesota. Minnesota's got to stay in the West, to me. And as a Wolves fan, like, they'd be better off in the East. But when I think of Minnesota, I think of KG, and I think of him battling Tim Duncan in the Spurs, fatally. Charles Barkley in the Rockets, fatally. Peyton and Kemp and the Sonics and all these teams, right? Like, there was some nice little obviously anytime Minnesota plays the Lakers, I don't know. I just like I don't want to contradict myself because AM made a great point about Chicago and Milwaukee are super close to Minnesota, and they're both in the East. Okay, so like in that way, it does kind of make sense for Minnesota to go to the East. But to me, Memphis is a no-brainer in the East. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah,
it's quick from New York and Philly and Boston and all that. It's a no-brainer for Memphis. The question is, like you said, Doc, Minnesota or New Orleans. Please don't be mad at me for saying this. Nobody cares about New Orleans. Nobody, except people in New Orleans. People in New Orleans care. Don't get it twisted. Nobody cares. No, people in New Orleans do give a damn about their team. They love their Pelicans. Okay, they're crappy little Pelicans. Sorry, guys. But send them to the East. Nobody cares. Right? You're not ruffling any feathers. You're not exciting anybody. It's just nobody cares. It's just, okay, the Pelicans went to the East. Who cares? On to the next. But if
they are literally. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying they're literally next to Texas, which is connected to Oklahoma, which is the 3 teams in Texas: Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. I think the Pelicans should be in that bracket. It makes sense geographically.
Yep.
And to AM's point, Chicago, Indiana, Timberwolves, that makes sense. Like geographically, Memphis is a no-brainer. Yeah, it's just easier for travel. You take a bus ride, just like how they love bragging about Sacramento to Golden State. Yeah, it just makes
sense. This is my point, Rick. We get what you're saying, but we have to take the emotion out of it and make it make geographical sense. Of course, when you think of Kevin Garnett, yes, Tim Duncan, etc., etc., that's because of how it makes us feel. But from a flying / geographical point of view, it's you know what? It's gonna happen. It's gonna be Minnesota and Memphis that goes to the East Coast. If it goes the other way, I'll be shocked because of what my cousin just said. Oklahoma, New Orleans, the Texas Triangle. It just connects. It just makes sense for the Western Conference. That's going to be the realignment. Minnesota and Memphis are going to the East Coast.
AM Pfeffer, how are you seeing this realignment topic?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with where Dwight's at. I mean, he made the decree, and Dwight, I'm backing you up. I'm second the motion, man. Double stamp it. And Rick, I hear what you're saying, but yeah, it's a Homer viewpoint. It's a fan base viewpoint. Like Minnesota and Memphis, they need to be on the East Coast. That's where I ultimately see this going. And I agree with what Doc's saying. I kind of see that visually as well. Louisiana right next to that Texas triangle. Oklahoma is obviously out in the West. It all lines up. That's how it should be.
Do you think there's a part of the NBA's thinking that they're like, we want to send, and I totally get the geography. I'm not even going to sit here and try to debate that. And you're right. Like, this is some homerism by me. I will admit that as well. Do you think it was part of the NBA's thought or will be a part of the NBA's thought process with Minnesota, with Ant-Man, to move them to the East and make the East better? Because the NBA is all about balance, right? Balancing the books with the aprons. They want to balance out, the tanking issue and the draft and whatever they decide with that. But they balanced out the league. There is parity. It is pretty wide open at who can win this thing. So the NBA likes balance. Do you think that's a part of their mindset? Doc, you first, that like Minnesota, let's get Ant-Man to the East and make the East just that much a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most Jordan-esque player that we have in the league right now. And he's in that same region as Chicago. And it just makes sense. Like I'd rather see Ant-Man give, the Celtics and the Knicks some issues. And ultimately Indiana and all those teams, they're a great defensive team. They went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. I just think that makes the most sense of balancing out the powers that be in the East Coast and just giving them more of a challenge. I mean, they're also close to Detroit Pistons in terms of, so I feel like they'll be in that actual division. They would be, what's that, the Northeast division?
Central.
And Central. Yep. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Central. And I believe that will be a very competitive, probably the most competitive conference. Because I don't really count Philly as a player anymore. They just have too many issues. It's over something. And it will just be like the Knicks and Boston, the Northeast. But that Central division, you got the Pistons up and coming, who already have arrived, and they're only going to get better. Then you have, with the Pacers returning with Halliburton. Then you got the Toronto Raptors, and you also have, who's the other team that I'm missing? But, you add Ant-Man to that. Well, not Brooklyn. I'm talking about Central. I'm talking about, and then the Raptors. So I just feel like the Raptors are probably the new Pelicans in the East. So I just think, all in all, we really will be benefited. Yeah, they are. We're really going to benefit from having, the Ant-Man and, McDaniels and Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle and all these guys, like, really good coaching staff, a good fan base. I mean, and just to repeat it one more time, Western Conference Finals, not Eastern Conference Finals, but Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. So they're always going to be in the running, I think, as long as Ant-Man is there.
Dwight, do you see that as well, that the league wants to balance it out, get Minnesota to the East? I think that's a part of their mindset?
No, again, we're living in the player empowerment / player movement era. The NBA is all about geographical sense, not about emotional sense, not about, of course, you want to create rivalries. Anthony Edwards may not want to be in Minnesota in 2 years. He might want to be in New York. Might want to be in Chicago. he might want to be in Los Angeles. He might want to be in a big market. If the NBA or the media, some of the media, are so gung-ho on having Anthony Edwards become the face of the franchise, why not become the face of the NBA? Why not become the face while you're in New York? The face while you're in Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, some of the bigger markets that we currently have in the NBA. I think the NBA is going to make this decision based on geographical sense, not emotional / rivalry sense. It has to make sense. We're talking. Steve Kerr is crying about shortening the season, less travel, no back-to-backs. The NBA isn't worried about rivalries. They're worried about travel, schedule, geographical sense. That's where Adam Silver and the NBA will be. That's why I'm gonna, you know what? I'm putting a stamp on it. It's gonna be Memphis and Minnesota going to the Eastern Conference.
There it is with an exclamation point. AM, last point on this before we move on to Wemby and the MVP combo.
Yeah, absolutely zero thought behind closed doors in NBA executives to Ant-Man, whether he should be in the West or the East. You know, just to extrapolate on what Dwight's saying, the league and the NBA owners, they think like long-term real estate investors. This is about a 25 to 50-year investment, and the movement of the league and where things go, they not giving one iota of thought to who's actually on the team.
Okay, understood. So, guys, let's talk Wemby and the MVP race. Dove into this in a little while, and now is the time. Over the weekend, Vic against the Hornets goes 32, 12, and 8. Dwight, cover your ears. 4 blocks, 2 steals, 5 threes. He had 4 blocks, 2 steals, and 5 threes. As a fantasy guy and an NBA numbers guy, what? Nobody's ever done that. Maybe like once, but like this is nightly for him. The blocks, the steals, the threes. I call it fantasy gold. They are the 3 most important categories in fantasy basketball. And I don't know if Doc and AM agree with this or not, but blocks, steals, and threes. For me, seems like my weeks always come down to, hey, timeout. Me and AM Pfeffer. Wait a minute. Timeout times 2.
Mm-hmm.
We got Brandon Armstrong. We got AKA B-Dot. Rocking some shades, bro. What's up, B-Dot?
Not much, man. Not much. We're supposed to be on the flight to Dubai right now, but it got delayed till tomorrow. So I'm here, man. I couldn't miss a show with the fellas.
Cool.
And the shades is just
it.
the shades is a strategic. The shades is strategic.
Okay. No,
Understood, Dot.
Understood, yeah.
Dot. Understood.
It's a 16-hour flight. Got delayed, so you know.
Wait a second. Wait, understood. Dot, explain to me, because I'm naive. What is the strategy behind the shades?
Okay,
Right,
so
I understand. Explain it to me.
It was a 16-hour flight. It got delayed, so I was already at the airport. So for a 16-hour flight, I took some Aaron Rodgers treatment, a little lighter.
Understood. Understood.
I was impersonating Aaron Rodgers on the flight.
Oh man, I'm so glad I made you explain that live on air. Okay, here we go.
B-Dot, I'm psyched you're with us, man. Oh, he's eating too. I like this.
And
All right,
he's eating,
multitasking.
and he's munching, quote unquote.
He said the shades are strategic. That is hilarious, dude. That is absolutely hilarious. So I'm still feeling some kind of way about Vic resting against Denver. What a bullcrap move. This mind-gaming Popovichian bullcrap. I wanted to cuss, but I'm too happy right now. But and that he played the game before, he plays the game after. It's obviously a rest game. He's out on the court before the game doing workouts, and they pull him. It's just all so stupid. It's all so stupid. But anyway, that is not my rant. There you go.
He missed the Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
What day was that?
4 days ago.
Thursday.
Sore heel.
Last Thursday,
last
Thursday.
before the Hornets game.
Yeah,
and so,
don't like that.
guys, that whole night got ruined. Jason Tatum doesn't play in a bullcrap rest game. Could have rested him the game before. He could have rested him the game after. I put out some stuff on X. Celtics fans were like, he missed 10. I'm just like, would you all shut up? I know the facts. I know the history. I know all of this, okay? They just get all butthurt when you make any comment about the guy on their team. I love X. I do. I love Instagram a lot more, but that I don't really read comments, but for some reason I went there and I'm like, oh, it's just ass hattery, man. It just really is. It's like Duh! You don't think I understand all that? Like they're explaining stuff to me like I'm some moron hoophead. You know what I mean? Give me a break, dude. I don't need help in the barbershop. I need no help in the barbershop, homie. Okay? Last Tuesday against Boston, Vic Wembanyama goes 39-11, 2 blocks, 8 threes. All right? They're 2-0 against Boston this year, 2-0 against Detroit, 4-1 against OKC, 8-1 against the 3 best teams in the L. They are 1-2 against the New York Knicks as Doc gets prideful and puffy-chested. The Spurs are 1-1 against the Nuggets. But there's a Bam Adebayo asterisk on that because Wemby didn't play in their last meeting. All right? 2 more meetings down the stretch, by the way. And Chris Marlowe, Nugs play-by-play, is going to join us in a couple of minutes here. The Spurs against the top 6 contenders are 10-4. 10-4. 2 of those losses to the New York Knicks. Kind of interesting. So the question is, and I want to go to B-Dot first here, who is strategically hiding behind some really cool shades. The question is, B-Dot, the question is Wemby the MVP right now? Or do you have K? Do you have Brown? Do you have SGA? Do you have Jokic? Is Wemby your MVP right now?
Man, you can definitely make a case for it, man. I think he has a lot of games that he disappeared in. That's probably that's my only fault to him. But at the end of the day, his team is, top of they're top of the West. But you got a guy over there, with the name of SGA. You feel me? That came back and scored a 30-point triple-double, and has been winning games. Hit a game-winner shot over the Nuggets the other night to let people know that, hey man, yeah, maybe I was out a couple games, but I'm back. I'm still here, 50%. Under 6'4". I don't even think he's 6. I don't think he's 6'6". If he is 6'6", he's a guard anyway, shooting 50% mid-range. These are jump shots, not a lot of layups and not a lot of threes. Just a lot of old school work. Rip Hamilton talking about that mid-range, working at mid-range. So I think it's still SGA because his team is still number 1. But I don't know, man. It's 1A, 1B because they missed dang near the same amount of games. And the way Wemby has taken that team, that organization from, middle of the pack to top right here matter of fact, Wemby's my MVP. And I say that because when I was on Prize the other day, I put his fantasy score up. His fantasy score was like 60. He had 49 at halftime, guys. Like that is, yeah, man. This is the greatest 2-way player we ever seen play the game, man. He still pissing me off a little bit, but hey, if you're making the threes, keep shooting them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Wemby for MVP. Wemby.
I got to follow up. Guys, get prepared to laugh again. I got to follow up here. B-Dot, are you trying to tell us that Wemby is a part-time killer?
Oh, God.
Well,
it kind of sounds like that's what you're trying to say here.
Hey, man.
I'm hearing the same thing.
By you guys is, a Hall of Fame status. Wemby is clearly he's a part-time killer. I mean, by you guys' status. To me, Wemby, Wemby's a killer.
Stats. Yeah.
But and Wemby's a killer. Wemby's a killer, and it doesn't have to be done on the offensive side of the floor. And that's what the one thing I like about it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! All right, B-Dot, you the man. Dr. X, you go next, man. Is Wemby the MVP right now, or do you got someone else?
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling what B-Dot was cooking, but then I thought he was going with SGA, and I was starting to go on his side of why he said SGA, but then he picked Wemby, so I was like, what? So, but
hey man, Doc, when you hit that parlay, a lot of things about you change. Wemby, I needed that fantasy. So yeah,
no, I agree. I mean, honestly speaking, most valuable player. I think we got to start saying it and stop using MVP. But most valuable player, like you subtract Wemby from this equation, and you subtract SGA, they're not doing this. But I think what makes it hard for me is how well SGA did to maintain his team to be elite in the beginning of the year without Jalen Williams. And how they were doing it, like the streak they had. Wemby, sometimes he didn't really disappear to me because defensively he's always present, and he impacts winning with the defensive stats. And then offensively, he always impacts as well. So I just feel like, he's not going to have 30 every night, but he's impacting winning. And so I think they overachieved. They're a year early. And the fact that he has, they're second in the West. Their record looks pristine. And for them to be looking like that so early in the timeline that we expected them to maybe next year, and the team that he's doing it with, it's a lot of guys that we weren't like. We know Vassell can play. We know Castle is a solid wing defender. De'Aaron Fox, I think, is the one that Wemby's been carrying all year, because I expected a little bit more out of De'Aaron Fox, truth be told. So with that said, for them to be that good in the West Coast, and I expect them to be like maybe a fourth or fifth team, maybe even sixth or seventh. I mean, not seventh, but definitely like sixth through like three through six. So for them to be second, I gotta say Wemby, the way he impacts winning with his defensive stats, he's my MVP at this point. SGA, I don't know. I mean, you can't overlook the fact that he didn't have Hartenstein for some part of the year. Caruso's not there. He was missing J-Dub, and he was missing Chet randomly misses games, and he's still holding it down. And for them to be the number one seed. So only reason I'm giving it to Wemby is because they overachieved and they're ahead of schedule and they're number two. They're not like 5 or 6. They're number 2.
Okay, we got 2 Wembys. Let's stay in LA. AM Pfeffer, you're next. Is Wemby your MVP right now?
No, he's not. The Spurs are 10-5 without Wemby. My man sat out that Denver game with a phantom sore heel that night. You don't get to win the MVP. And guys, you heard me diatribe about this. This was my rant on Thursday, that it is over. And guess what, all you Las Vegas fans out there, I'm talking to you, Dwight, I'm talking to you, Rick, I'm talking to you, Doc. Your favorite city agrees with me, because last week it was minus 800, minus 900 for SGA and plus 1,500 for Jokic and Wemby. As of today, the needle's moved even further. It's minus 1,000 for SGA, and it's moved up to plus 1,700 for Jokic and Wemby. Guys, it's over. The debate, the conversation, I think it's like we all need to understand over the next 3 weeks, it's going to take like force majeure. It's going to take act of God for anything to come off of SGA. He is your MVP. He's my MVP. He just proved it himself. Like over the last 10 games, he is by far the best player in the league, the most important player in the league. It's not, and I love Jokic. I've been banging the Jokic drum most of the year. Come on. Wemby's awesome. We're all going to build a shrine to him. We're all going to bow down to this demigod over the next decade, and I look forward to it, and I'll join you all on my knees as of 2027, 26, 27. But as of right now, SJ is bringing home the hardware again, back to back.
Before Dwight goes, to take a page out of AM's book, the question was, is Wemby your MVP? Not is he the league MVP? You did say your MVP is SGA, but you started answering the question pertaining to the all NBA of the world MVP. So who is your MVP?
But I did start my answer with the San Antonio Spurs are 10-5 without Wemby, and he sat down a game that he absolutely could have and should have played the other night, and you don't deserve an MVP just yet if that's happening. SGA is getting it done. The Oklahoma City Thunder in the last 10 games of the way they've won games, they're not blowing people out of the water. A lot of those games are close. And guess who the full-time killer is in the fourth quarter? And guess who's putting up 20-plus points every game because he broke Wilk's stat and put up 10 times the other night and is just winning when it matters the most. And the entire gravity to that team, I mean, it is literally like all 8 planets, just sucking down into the sun that is SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't know if you can see this through the shades, B-Dot, but I'm talking directly to the camera here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my AM Pfeffer's MVP.
There, Vegas is MVP and AM's MVP. Dwight Walton, is Wemby your MVP right now?
Well, you guys know how I felt about the Most Valuable Player award for the last 4 to 6 weeks. I've been on the Jaylen Brown bandwagon. because of the narrative coming into this season. But last week, I officially changed my vote to Victor Wembanyama. And Victor Wembanyama, AM, is my most valuable player as of today. Rick, you outlined what the Spurs have done this year against the elite teams in the NBA. I've had this discussion with my cousin about there seems to be a comfortability when the Knicks play against the Spurs. The Knicks don't see the Spurs as a threat, but you can best believe the other elite teams, and that includes the Oklahoma City Thunder, see Victor Wembanyama as a threat. And as for the games in where Victor Wembanyama scores 12 or 14 points, I could care less about that. Victor's impact, him just being on the basketball court, impacts winning. He can score 12, 14 points in a game because he's not your typical big. He's not going to live in the paint. Of course, we would all love to see him operate more out of the mid post. But here's a 7'5 player that shows the complete offensive package on a night in, night out basis. What is their record over the last 20 games? What are they, 18-2? Victor's had his footprints, his handprints all over this 20-game stretch. They're in second place in arguably the most competitive Western Conference we've had over the past 10 seasons. The Spurs weren't expected to finish top 2 in the West this season. It's all because of Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama, to me, has catapulted himself to the top of the MVP list. Mitch Johnson, to me right now, is still second behind Joe Mazzulla in the Coach of the Year sweepstakes right now. And as of last week, Victor Wembanyama has taken over the MVP reins on my list over Jaylen Brown. The narrative for both the Celtics and the Spurs coming into this season was not this forecast, not even close. And again, we're talking about the Spurs because of Victor Wembanyama. Yes, we're enamored with Devin Vassell. Yes, we're enamored with Stephon Castle. Yes, we're enamored with Keldon Johnson. Yes, we're enamored with the way Luke Cornett has been a beautiful compliment to Victor Wembanyama. But because your point about De'Aaron Fox, I think De'Aaron Fox has done a masterful job of fitting in rather than dominating what he now knows is Victor Wembanyama's team. I think Fox has been a leader. I think he has pick and chosen his spots to where he needs to take over. But ultimately, he knows whose team and whose franchise this is. Victor Wembanyama, along with Nikola Jokic, impacts winning as better than anyone in the NBA right now, and that includes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That includes Luka Doncic. That includes Anthony Edwards. Whomever else you feel is in the MVP race, Victor Wembanyama gets it done specifically on the defensive end, where he allows the Spurs to become an elite defensive team. And the reason they have a chance to be the first team to not make the playoffs a season prior and then be a serious championship contender the next, it starts and ends with Victor Wembanyama. His impact on winning, along with Jokic, is better. Nobody supersedes those two players. But Victor, whatever he brings to the game, he could score 2 points in the game. But because he's on the court, the Spurs as a collective feel that much more confident. And right now, there's no player more valuable in my book than Victor Wembanyama.
Woo! Very interesting. We've got 3 Wembys and 1 SGA, and we have a 4th Wemby. That is my vote for MVP right now. It's close. I love all the points that AM is making. Wemby, without him, they're 10-5. It's pretty impressive. What Wemby has established a culture in his 3rd year in the league, and that's very impressive. He's a killer. He's, that guy in terms of of not, he's not nice. He's not looking to make friends. Like, I loved it before the Boston game. He went right to the center circle before the game and just stood there. I ain't dapping you up. I'm not going around and Derek White, what's up? How's the fam? And Tatum, so glad you're back. And JB, what a year you're having and all that. And that's fine too if that's how you rock, right? He ain't into all that. He's like, screw you, buddy. I don't care about anything going on with you. All I want to do is go Dumb and Dumber on you and reach into your chest cavity, pull your heart out, and put it in a bag, and then hand you the bag as you fall over. Remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber? I mean, it's beyond hilarious. Wemby, that's what Wemby wants to do. He wants to go Dumb and Dumber on you and just pull your heart out. And, oh, you lost your heart. You lost your heart. We win. Dude, he's just a freaking killer, man. And that's my favorite part about Wemby. It's not the fact that he's the greatest weapon of mass destruction in league history, okay? To me, that's not debatable. The step backs, the threes, the blocks, the steals, the rebounds, the triple-double threats. It's a joke, dude. It's an absolute joke what we get from Wembanyama, and we don't even know where it's going yet. What's the ceiling for Wemby, right? He's not even close to it right now. He's third year in the league. Anyway, Wemby's my MVP. You guys have all made excellent points, but I just want to talk about culture and to establish that in your third year in the league, especially with a storied franchise like this, is pretty special. It's rare. Wemby is number one. SGA is number two. And if SGA wins it, I'm going to be out here applauding him. I'm not. Some MVPs, like when Chris Paul got nipped by Joel Embiid when Embiid played like 50 games. You remember that like 3 years ago when Paul was with Phoenix, completely changed that franchise. I'm like, Paul's the MVP of this league. I don't even think came close to winning it like Embiid did. And one of the reasons the 65-game rule came in was my suggestion to Adam Silver. And also because Embiid won that MVP playing far less than that. I was pretty outraged by that one. I will not be outraged if SGA beats Wemby and Jokic and all these guys. Number 3 is Cade. Number 4 is Jaylen Brown. Number 5 is Jokic. 6, I've got Luka. 7, I've got Brunson. 8, I've got Durant. 9, I've got Donovan Mitchell. And 10, I've got Anthony Edwards. Tons of heavy hitters. Think about Luka leading the league in scoring. I believe the Lakers are third in the West right now. And I can't find room for Luka in my top 5 for MVP. That's pretty crazy. The guy is like 35, 10, and 10 every night, and I just can't quite find room for him in my top 10 right now. So that's pretty cool. We should be welcoming on Chris Marlowe here pretty quickly. He is, of course, TV play-by-play for the Denver Nuggets on Altitude Sports. And guys, he has one of the great live calls. When like kick out, Aaron Gordon hits a big 3, or all these guys hit a big 3. Yes, and he it's like 10 S's, right? And I can't hit the high note like Chris, but he's one of the great high note broadcasters that we have, and I really think that's an underestimated quality of play-by-play guys or women. And so, just the ability to hit the high note. Ian Eagle can hit it. Bob Fitzgerald out in Golden State is absolutely phenomenal hitting the high note. He's a bit whiny when calls go against his team, but
too much of a homer, though. Yep.
Am I right about that, Dwight? I don't want to put words in your mouth. But
yeah, listen. Bob is great, but to your point, his warrior homerism is a little bit too much right now. Yes.
Kalena Azubuike has to kind of like. He plays a little bit more in the middle. I mean, he's very pro.
He tries to rein him in. Yes.
Yeah, but Kalena's probably like, bro, you're not wearing a uniform. I mean, I get it. You're boys with Joe Lakeup and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to bring Chris on here right now. Great broadcast team out there. Scott Hastings, games with for a long, long time. We have the legendary Chris Marlowe. Come on in here, my friend. We are Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network, and Chris Marlowe, we welcome you to the family. How you doing, my friend?
I was doing great until you said Jokic 5th in the MVP voting. I practically threw up. How you doing, fellas?
This man's
Good
day.
to be on.
How you doing? Pleasure.
Chris is literally the driver of the Serbian bus. It's not Nemanja or help me out with the other brother's name, Chris.
Strahinja.
Strahenia. Yeah, Strahenia. It is. Those guys aren't driving the Jokic bus. They're in the back, like pumping the keg or something like that. Chris Marlowe is driving the Serbian bus. Okay. So, but Chris, I'm glad you started there. Like we just talked MVP. 4 of us have Wemby for MVP. 1 of us has SGA for MVP. But I don't like Jokic being at 5. But Wemby and SGA have great cases. Cade Cunningham, hello, Detroit #1 in the East. Jaylen Brown doing absolutely Herculean things in Boston. And then, Jokic and Luka and all those guys. I don't feel great about it, Chris, but there's a lot of great cases for MVP right now.
Well, I would agree with that, but I wouldn't have Wemby #1 if I were doing it. I would have actually SGA #1. I think he's been a fantastic player all season long. He's on the #1 team in the league. They just had the shootout with Jokic, and you know how pro Jokic I am. But he was the better player that night. I would have Wemby at #3 if I was doing it. Maybe Cade at 4. You got to take into account that the Eastern Conference seems to me to be a lot weaker. So you're getting a lot of wins there. I'm just not a huge believer there, but I think that's the 3. It's SGA, it's Jokic. If SGA didn't play enough games, Jokic's going to win the MVP, in my opinion. But I love Wemby. And I think he's terrific, and he's on my first team. I just wrote up where is that? I just wrote up my first team. This would be good for you guys because I know you guys are all opinionated about it. My first team, all NBA at this moment: Ant-Man, Brown, Jokic, Luka, Shea. No, I didn't have Wemby in there.
No Wemby?
Wemby's on my second team.
Whoa.
Wemby could make it up to the first team by the end of the broadcast. He's on the second team at the moment.
It's a pivotal spot. All right, so one more question for me, Chris, and then I'm going to introduce you to our great panel, and then they're going to start asking you some questions. So you and I were texting last week, and I'm still mildly butthurt about Wemby missing that game. And on the same night, Tatum takes a rest game, ruining that game on the other side of the ledger. Like we had, so the Wemby DMP ruined that game. The Tatum DMP ruined that game, and that kind of pissed me off. But anyway, what do you think was, because Wemby played the game before and played the game after, and he went Wilt frickin' Chamberlain in both of those games. You can't tell me that Wemby couldn't have gone against Denver. I will not believe that. And I'm not saying you as in Chris Marlowe, the universal you. But what do you think was going on with that DNP? And were you feeling some kind of way about it?
I think I texted you before that game, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah. What did I text you?
I talked to you about, the mind gaming and the gamesmanship.
No. What did I
like
text you right before that game? As soon as we found out Wemby couldn't play.
Oh, wow. Uh-oh. I forgot. It's been a wild weekend for me, Chris. Chris Marlowe said
Wemby scared.
He said, and I quote, Wemby scared with a big eye emoji. See, he's got sarcasm too. I mean, this guy's a volleyball goat. He's a basketball broadcasting goat, and he's got jokes too.
You know what? It's so disappointing, and I put some of you guys would agree on this. A lot of this is on the league. You can't have back-to-backs and 3 and 4 nights and 5 and 7 nights. They're trying to accommodate the national media, the Peacocks, the NBCs, the ESPNs, the Primes, and they're doing a great job. I love the broadcast, and it's good to have them on. But you're expecting guys. You want guys to play, but we've got guys that have been injured, and you don't want to risk them. Like Aaron Gordon, he can't play. He can't play back-to-backs now. You got to take care of him. And I think they're thinking the same thing with Wemby. I'm not sure you want to play him 3 games in 4 nights, because if he sprains his ankle or tears a hamstring or something like that, there goes San Antonio. So I think a lot of this is just the scheduling. Could he have played? Maybe. But it was interesting last year, in the couple of games that Jokic played against Wemby, and Wemby's a great player. Jokic got 46 and 47. 46 and 47, yeah, in each of the 2 games. So the Nuggets won 1, Spurs won 1 of those. It's always a great matchup. It's fun to watch those guys play, and you want to see them play. But I think health is the most important thing now, particularly for the Denver Nuggets. because if they get all their guys back, I think they're the one team outside of the elite group that has a chance to go all the way.
Yeah, we're all bullish on Denver for sure. So Chris Marlowe's been the Nuggets play-by-play guy on TV for a long, long time. An Olympic gold medalist on the U.S. national team for volleyball, just an awesome volleyball announcer for a long time. Beach volleyball, like the whole thing. And Chris, I have a question for you about that later on in the interview, but let me introduce the crew here. Upper right-hand corner, it is Dwight Walton, Canadian basketball legend. He, like you, Chris, is an Olympian, played in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul with the Canadian national team. Dr. X and A.M. Pfeffer are in our LA studios, lower right. Dr. X is the founder and the creator of this show. He's a sports medicine radiologist, one of the best in America, and an absolute badass, and a huge Knicks fan. To his right, it is A.M. Pfeffer. He's a businessman, an anchor, author. And then we have the great Brandon Armstrong, a.k.a. B-Dot, NBA impersonator, pro hooper. He's a rapper. He's a comedian. He's a DJ. He's going to what? You're going to Dubai tomorrow, B-Dot? That's correct, right? You're flying to Dubai tomorrow.
Dubai, and then Africa, Tanzania.
He's a man about the world, man. So, Chris, this is our crew. We are beyond the surface.
Wow.
And now, so let's go around.
We got a starting five and subs.
Yes, we do.
No load management over here. We good.
I love it. So Dr. X coming in here with a question or two for the great Chris Marlowe.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for being on the show. My first question. Thank you. And I guess my only question is, why do you think the Knicks have had the Nuggets number in the past 2 to 3 years in terms of matchups?
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson alone? Okay.
Jalen Brunson has just been a Nuggets killer. The Nuggets, as you know, are not a great defensive team. We don't have quick guards that can guard the perimeter. And every time we seem to play the Knicks, Brunson just goes off. He gets to where he wants to go. He's setting up other guys. I think the Knicks are much improved. You know, it's interesting. So you're a New York guy. Every time they play the Nuggets, they just work us over. But then they go to Phoenix and lose, or they go to somewhere else. And it's just weird. I think the Knicks seem to have enough personnel to beat any team in the league. They got bigs. They got a couple of guys now that can. The wings are good. They've got great players off the bench. But I think generally it's been Brunson. I think he lit us up for 38 in the first meeting, and then they beat us by 40 in one of the other games. I think all you guys would agree. A lot of it's like matchups. How you play against certain teams. We lost a close one the other night. It was just a joke. We played terrible. Then went up to Portland and beat them by 54, our biggest regular season win of all time. Not that Portland's any good, but to beat anybody by 54 is pretty good. So New York's good. I think they got a chance to come out of the East. If they get their act together and they play well and they're not hurt. I really like what they're doing with the bigs. Towns starts, he plays, he scores, he does his thing. And then you bring Mitchell Robinson in. To take care of the defensive end. Mitchell Robinson killed us in the last game. He was looking like a combination of Wilt and Kareem in there. He was just knocking our guys all over the place. And so I like the Knicks. I'm bullish on the Knicks.
Okay. I like it.
I love the
That's question,
Doc. Just goes right to it about how my team is cranking your team's butt. Why and how is that happening? All right, Dwight Walton, come on in here. Olympian to Olympian. Have some fun with Chris Marlowe.
Chris, thank you for gracing us with your presence on our show today.
Thank you.
I've got a two-part question. The first question is, I believe that Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama have the most impact on winning. I know we talk about Jaylen Brown, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic in the MVP conversation. There's a couple of other players that we can throw in there. But I believe Victor Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic have the most impact on winning in the NBA. What say you to that? And the second part is, how concerned are you with Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson for the rest of this season? To me, those are two major rotation players that need to be
Yeah.
in your lineup if they have any thoughts of coming out of the Western Conference. If you can answer those two questions.
Yeah, well, I would start with our guy Nikola Jokic. I don't think there's really anybody that impacts winning more. When he's on the court, we're plus 12. When he's off the court, well, last year we were minus 10. So anytime he would sit down, the other team would make a run and he'd have to come back in. He's just been fantastic. He's had he has made a triple double like a whole hum thing. You look at all the reports, you watch ESPN, you watch all well, he had a triple double. He had 25. 16 and 11, or he had 32. He's just made that routine, and he makes everybody better. He gets them wide open. He rebounds. Nobody's ever, led the league in rebounding and assists in the same season. He's going to do that this season, and he's been amazing. And I think I have to say that Wemby, getting back to him, which is fun. Getting back to him, he's much better than I thought he was going to be. And I think one of the reasons why, besides the physical attributes, I mean, he's long and tall and he jumps and he is competitive. I love the idea that he goes into the All-Star game and he says, I'm going to kick some ass. I don't care what all these other assholes are doing. I don't worry about them. I'm going to go out and play hard. I'm going to do my thing. And he has just elevated that team. They have a lot of other talents. So I think both those guys, particularly Wemby on the defensive end, because everybody's scared to go into the lane when he's there. But as I mentioned earlier, he has trouble with Jokic because Jokic can back him up and shoot threes and get by him, and the pace that Jokic plays with is very hard to replicate for some players defensively. I know Towns always has trouble guarding him, and so does Embiid and some of the other bigs. But those two guys are elite players. As for Gordon, he just got back. He's missed 40 games, and he's just kind of rounding into shape. He played really well the other night against the Lakers, but he made a couple costly errors down the stretch. He got picked. He got picked in the backcourt for a bucket, and then
Mr. Free Throw.
Yeah, and that was an inexplicable play because Jamal Murray is our best free throw shooter. He's career 87 or 88%. He's got the ball. They're going to foul. Just hold on to the goddamn ball. They come to foul him, and he throws it to Gordon. Now, Gordon's not a bad free throw shooter, but he's not 88%. And I said, "Oh, that's a mistake" right away. And then he goes up and he misses one, and then we have all the calamity that happened after that. So a lot of the Nuggets games, and not to go on and on about my team, but we've had 11 losses by 3 points or less. We've just not been clutch this year, and a lot of it's been injuries. A lot of it's been guys coming and going. The Jokic-Murray two-man game has not been quite as good because I think teams scout it now. They know what they're doing. But on the bright side, guys are coming back. Cameron Johnson just came back. He's playing well now. You mentioned Peyton Watson. He should be back in a week. They're getting really good play from Christian Brown now. And the other night, Murray had an off night, a terrible night shooting, and we still almost beat the Lakers. We should have beaten them. That was just a crazy play. So Murray has had a great season. I think he's going to make one of the top three all NBA teams, somewhere on the third team, I hope. And we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out.
One more. I just want to add one more.
Yeah, go ahead,
thing, Rick. Sorry about that. In regards to Aaron Gordon, and I don't. If I'm looking for inside information, maybe was there ever any question about Aaron Gordon being shut down this season in regards to surgery for the hamstring? Because that hamstring has been an issue over the course of the last year to 18 months.
Yeah, no, there was never any thought of that. I think the thinking has evolved on Aaron Gordon because the last time he got hurt, he played on a back-to-back. So he played the first night, played great, and then in the second night of the back-to-back, he got hurt. And I think their thinking is now, the regular season be damned. We got to get this guy into the playoffs. Just get him to the playoffs And you might remember last year when the Nuggets were knocked out by OKC, Gordon was not healthy. Michael Porter was not healthy. Jokic had a bad wrist, and it still went 7. So I think when they're double teaming Jokic and they're putting 3 guys on him and they're playing the little man defense where he just, or I call it the hugger mugger defense, where they just kind of grab him and wrestle him to the ground. You have to have Gordon there as the outlet. You have to have Gordon and Murray. That's the 3-headed monster. So no, not gonna shut him down. He's doing well now, and I think we got a back-to-back coming up this week. Tomorrow night we host Philly, and then we fly to Memphis. I would severely doubt that Gordon will play on the second night throughout the regular season. And maybe that's just for the rest of his career. Maybe you just have to be really, really careful, like they kind of were doing with Porzingis and some of the other players in the NBA. Just don't play him on the back-to-back and keep him healthy.
From Altitude Sports, it is Chris Marlowe, TV play-by-play for the Denver Nuggets. You mentioned Jokic has turned the triple-double into a ho-hum. Chris, when you first saw me on TV, it was back in the early 2000s, 03, 04, 05, 06, in that range. And I can tell you that so we'd have the rundown done for the show. It's late. We're about to go on the air and all this all of a sudden, Jason Kidd has a triple-double in the New Jersey whoever game, okay? They would change the rundown for a random triple. I'm not making this up. So like Kidd triple-double with also the context of the game, but mainly the Kidd triple-double would rise to like the C block, okay? A, B, C, A is the top segment. For those, not you guys, but for audience members out there so they know, right? And so, boom, a triple-double would automatically be bumped up. A 50-point game, we went crazy about a 50-point game. Now it's like kind of a big deal. But the triple-double especially, we would literally tear up a rundown and redo it for one triple-double. One. Yeah. And now, and it's my favorite statistic. I'm a big Magic Johnson guy. So, but I want to bring Brandon Armstrong in here. B-Dot, hit Chris Marlowe with a question or two. Play a little tennis with the great Chris Marlowe.
Man, how you doing, Chris? Great to have you on, man.
I'm doing great, B-Dot.
Thank you, man.
What do you got?
I got 2 questions. They kind of intertwine with each other. You've called a lot of Nuggets games. At this point in his career, where does Nikola Jokic rank among the greatest centers ever? And also, while in calling Jokic nightly, you've had a front row seat watching him every night. What's something fans don't fully appreciate about his game?
Well, let me address one thing, and this has kind of bugged me throughout my career. There's been a million pronunciations of Jokic's first name. They finally got it right with Jokic, and some people still call him Jokic, but I think it's Nikola Jokic. That's what he's been called. That's what, Nikola Jokic. If you look at all the pronunciation guides throughout the NBA, Basketball Reference, NBA.com, they even have him in the pronunciation guide for the NBA, they have the players speaking his name, and he says Nikola Jokic. So I'm going to go with that. I would say the thing that sets Jokic apart, well, there's a million things, but his ball handling ability for a big man. We've never seen a guy that's 6'11" or 7 feet dribble the ball, get the rebound, dribble the ball up the court, and be the playmaker for his team. We've seen big men do other things, but in terms of that, no. Jerry West once told me the thing that separates Jokic, besides that, separates Jokic from all other bigs and all other players is his hands. His ability to grab the ball, to tip the ball to himself, to volleyball it out, to coin a phrase. He has great hands. You can throw him the ball in the middle of the key in a thicket of players, and somehow he comes up with it. He's got the one-hand water polo shot.
There you go.
Tip it out.
Thank you.
You've seen him get it in the key.
There you go.
And he tips it out to the guy in the corner. He's just been amazing. I think that he's just been great for the game. I think one thing that's kind of interesting, and you guys have been around for a long time, I think he has single-handedly revived the center position. Remember, the center position before Jokic came along was almost out of business. They want to take it off the All-Star ballot. Let's get the 5 best guys. We don't even want to feature the centers. And now there's all these young guys coming up, and regular, Wemby and all these guys coming up that are fun and great to watch. So I think Jokic has been great for the game. Doesn't really care about the stats. If he's 1 assist shy of a triple-double, I think he's got 80. We call them Sombor doubles. So a Sombor double is you get double figures in points, you get 30 points, you get 15 rebounds, and you have 9 assists. And you don't get the triple-double. So Sombor is his hometown. I kind of, not to pat myself on the back. Let me see. Can I get over there? Yeah, I can. But I just coined that term because he was getting them all the time, and I'm saying put him back in, and he says fine, go ahead. He's got like 80 of them. So he's not really when Kendrick Perkins called him a stat patter back in the day, I just wanted to just.
I wanted to punch him out.
Nothing like that. He sits down.
Trust me.
There are some stat patterns out there. I don't know if you guys have noticed lately what's going on, but that's where I stand.
Oh, hold on now.
We have.
Is he talking? Is he referring to another center in the league? Oh, go ahead and ask you. That's you.
Next
You
topic.
bring that in, Rick.
I would say this on the Camel Show or whatever. Beyond the surface. I would
Beyond
say
the
this.
surface.
I love Shea. He's a great player. He's probably going to win MVP. But being put back into a game with a 15-point lead with 2 minutes to go, so he can get his 20 points and extend his streak, I think is a little bit bogus. There, I said it.
So then.
I like it.
So
I
then.
like it.
You probably didn't love Bam's 83 then either.
Well, okay.
Don't
Now you got me reeling here. The Bam 83 was.
Oh God.
Who did that? Who said that? Who groaned?
Nothing.
Dwight. Hey, Canadian.
Dwight.
Canadian, you just
Can't
said
see me
something
on
about
the screen
SGA
right
too,
now, but
so you
I
might not
brought
like this one.
Well, did all you guys think that was fine? That was okay?
I did
No,
not.
I did not.
I did.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you, Chris.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
I was cool with it.
The thing that struck me, and it's not a record. He didn't set a record.
Thank you.
Wilt is the
Right.
record.
Thank you.
That's
got
why it was
83,
okay.
Second most all time. Okay, great. But that's not the record. Wilt's got the record.
Right.
100, right? So I'm not so sure. And, the other team's not even trying. They're fouling at every point. I don't know. I had mixed feelings about that. That being said, if I had like 75 when I was playing college basketball, I probably would have gone for 80 or 85 myself. So
Thank you very
see the
much.
other
That's
side.
my point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But
Chris,
I don't
it's
think I ever played. I don't think I ever played in a basketball game. I never got to the professional level, but I did play 4 years of college, or a volleyball match. I played Olympic volleyball where the other team wasn't trying, where they weren't trying. They were kind of assisting them along and fouling, and it just I don't know.
That's
Just,
too much.
I was looking up the word for it. It was just a little bit unsavory. Camelo, you'll like
Yes.
that. Unsavory.
Yes. I agree with that term.
Me and Doc were asterisk. Dwight and Am were like totally fine with it. B-Dot wasn't totally fine with it, but he also didn't want to put an asterisk on it. So we literally are a house divided on the Bam 83.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with the asterisk either. You think back to, the Wilt thing, they were fouling him back in the day. I've done a lot of research on that. There was a lot going on there. And the Kobe thing, I think, was more legitimate because I think they trailed in that game, and he had to score 81 for them to win that game. I've talked to Bill McDonald about that a lot, who called the game, and that game was still in doubt, through the third quarter or whatever it was. But it was interesting. He got 83, and then he got, I think he got 8 the next game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chris, really quick, because I actually really liked B-Dot's question. where would you rank Jokic amongst the other bigs like the Elijah Wans, Patrick Ewings, David Robinson, Shaq? Where's Jokic on your list? Top 5 centers.
I think, I've done this before, and I don't have my list with me. But I would say he's like 5th or 6th at the moment. So you've got Kareem, you got Russell, you got Wilt, you got Elijah Wan and Shaq. I think those guys at the moment. But I think Jokic is on the upswing. And, I don't know about David
Chris,
Robinson. Yeah. Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
Chris, this is Dwight again. I've been on social media for the last 3 or 4 years saying that Nikola Jokic is the most skilled center to ever play the game. I have never said that he is the greatest center, but people can't seem to understand the difference. So what I will say on this show is that Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid are the 2 most skilled centers to ever play in the game. Not the greatest centers, but their ball skills are what separate themselves from every other center that has played in the NBA. When Joel Embiid is healthy, he is as dominant as any center to have played. You watch where he's a 3-level scorer. He can put the ball on the floor to get to the basket, all of that stuff. So when I'm talking about skills, I believe Jokic and Embiid are the 2 most skilled centers to ever play.
Well, you got 1 out of 2. You got one out of 2 there. I don't know. I'm it's hard to evaluate Joel Embiid simply because of the injury factor. I was just looking at a number because we play Philly tomorrow night. Joel Embiid has played in 285 games in his career, and he's missed 285 games in his career. So I hesitate to put him on the level of Kareem or Russell or Wilt or any of those guys. But I think Jokic is moving into that territory. He's got to win more rings because somehow in the NBA, it's all about the rings until it comes to Russell, who won 11 of 13. He probably should have won 12 out of 13. The rings count until you're including Russell. So Kareem, Russell, Wilt, Elijah Wan, Shaq. I think one of the reasons why Shaq is hard on Jokic because he feels like Jokic is coming up hard on the outside, and that maybe he might take his spot around the corner. But if Jokic could win 2 or more titles, another MVP or so, he'd be right in that group. But the center group in the NBA is incredible. That top 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, and they're just. And I agree with you on the skill part. Passing, dribbling, fast breaking, shooting, rebounding, all that stuff. Most of those guys on that list. I mean, Kareem was very versatile, but he didn't bring the ball up. He wasn't throwing behind the back passes from 80 feet. Russell couldn't shoot. Wilt couldn't make free throws except for one night. Elijah Wan was great, but he wasn't really a ball handler. He wasn't bringing the ball up. He's probably the most underrated of those centers. And Shaq, he couldn't shoot. If he couldn't dunk, you take 20,000 points away out of his total. Camlet, will you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
If he couldn't dunk the basketball, how many points would Shaq have?
He also left a lot of money on the table with all the games missed. And he has, since he retired, kind of been a little regretful about that. I mean, Shaq was not really trying to play a whole lot in October, November, and December. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't come in, and I love Shaq, but he didn't come in great shape. He kind of worked his way into shape as the year went on. But, I mean, look, the guy was rang the bell when it mattered. He's got 4 of those things. I have one more Jokic question, a brief one, and then I want to bring in AM for a question or two. Do you feel like Chris Marlowe, Nikola Jokic has the best touch in NBA history?
Define touch. Like shooting touch?
shooting touch, but also the tipping rebounds and all the little stuff that Jokic does, right? Just and it's not like you talked about how great his hands are and stuff like that. Touch is a part of that, but it's like one part of that, right? The great hands part is a bigger conversation. Touch is a more nuanced part of that conversation. I can't think of a guy in the history of the league, Chris, that has better touch than Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, you may be right on that. I mean, his mid-range game for a big man is impeccable. He can step out and shoot threes. He's like 39, 40%. I think what sets him apart is his floater game. I mean, he makes shots in the lane from like 7 feet. Left hand, right hand, push shots.
If he's below the foul line, it's good.
Yeah.
On that little push shot, I mean, it's good.
Yeah. He's got a lot of Serbian tricks. You know, he can tip it with the left and tip it to the right. I want you guys, after we go off the air, go look at the nicknames for Nikola Jokic on Basketball Reference. I nicknamed him the Big Tipper because he never in homage to the Big Dipper. The Big Tipper is on there, and he just does that. He tips it to himself. He tips it in the basket. He tips it off someone's head. I haven't seen all the players in history, but the best big man, all around touch, he's right up there.
I can't imagine that Dolph Schayes had better touch than Nikola Jokic. I feel good about making that statement. And shout out to the great Dolph Schayes. Okay, so here are the nicknames: Joker, of course, Big Honey, Cookie Monster.
Yeah, I hate that one.
Yoke and Big Tipper. Big Tipper is on there, Chris. Well done.
There you go.
Well done.
Yeah, we got him.
I'm trying to get. I've dubbed SGA Mr. Consistent, and Pro Basketball Reference has not adopted that yet. But it's a bit generic, but the guy's 30 every game. I mean, he's arguably the most consistent player I've ever seen. The guy's incredible that way. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, he's been incredible, and I'm not sure what your panel thinks. All the rest of the guys, does he get a much different whistle than everybody else? And is that more of an officiating problem in the NBA, not really a Shea problem? Because I don't think anybody argues he's great. He's one of the great. He'll be one of the greatest ever. But the calls that the officials are making, they really need to be adjusted. You just can't. You can't dribble the ball, fall down, and expect 2 shots. I just think that's. I have kind of a Marlowe theory, and I've run it by Scott Hastings a bunch of times. If you fall down, offensively or defensively, you don't get the call. You never get the call if you fall down. Now, there's one exception to that rule. If you get blown up. If you get blown up and a guy knocks you into the VIPs and it's obvious, it's so obvious, et cetera. But if you're guarding a guy and you're bodying him up and all of a sudden you go head over heels, you fall down, you don't get the call. If you're an offensive player and you go up to shoot and you fall down, you don't get the call. That's the Marlowe rule. I just think it's gone too far. You're just giving these crazy plays where players are careening all over the place. And there's no foul in the play. Am I wrong?
Chris, I agree. I agree with you. But let's go around.
Yeah, I think
I love everything.
I think you gotta. Yeah, I think you gotta define what incidental and marginal contact is, and I think that's where the refs have to be consistent. Like if they're gonna call it marginal and incidental foul, then call it every time for both teams. And so they just have to be. And I don't think it should be game by game. It should be what it is. What is marginal? What's incidental? I don't care what side of the bed you woke up on, and now you're going to call a game soft or you call a game hard. I just think that needs to be defined. So I agree with you. It's really a ref thing. I think Shea is a master at wanting contact and initiating contact. If they want to call it, that's on them. He's still gonna do what he does.
So so Chris. I'll interject here. So I'm on the side of drawing fouls are a skill. What do you think? Because not everybody can draw fouls, and that's why there seems to be certain players who are great at drawing fouls. I will never use the foul baiting term. There are players that are great at the ability of drawing fouls. That's why I believe drawing fouls is a skill that not all players at any level possess. And I think the ones that complain the most, they don't know how to draw a foul. There is an art to it. That's why I believe it's a skill.
Yeah, I got to tell. I don't know. That's a hard one to figure out. I agree. Drawing fouls is a skill. If you're taking a jump shot, you're going straight up and down. You pump fake a guy into jumping on top of you. That's drawing a foul. Or you're in the lane. You grab the rebound. You pump fake, and the guy jumps on top of you, and that's a foul. But I don't think. I just think some of the stuff that you see from some of the players in the league is foul baiting. Is that you got your arms out? I think it actually started with James Harden, with the arms straight out, and you're dragging your arms into the defensive player, or you're bumping into the defense. You're running alongside and you're bumping in. I just think that's too much. I think they've gone over the line there. And I've talked to a couple of ex-officials in the NBA. One who I talk to all the time, I won't mention his name. I said, well, what is it when you're going parallel and you're guarding your man and you're trying to guard your man and he careens into you and throws it up and gets a foul? He goes, that's a foul. That should be an offensive foul, not a defensive foul. If the offensive man creates the contact into you. That's what he thought, and I kind of agree with it. But I guess it depends. Bottom line, it depends if you have one or two of those guys on your team. if you do, then you're probably happy with it. But I just think the officiating has been a little bit inconsistent, is what I would say, in terms of calling touch fouls on some players and not calling them on others. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see the foul? Which team has shot the most free throws in the last, was it 3 or 4 years? And
The
Lakers
Lakers
have shot 1,500 free throws, and the next team has shot like 600. That just can't be right, can it?
Which team was
Anyway.
it? The Lakers? You said the Lakers?
Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was shocked when they told me it was the Lakers.
It's skill, right,
What's that?
Todd? It's skill.
I think it's a skill, only because I don't think he gets a special whistle because, Dwight, as a referee, these professional athletes are going, X amount of miles per hour at a time, and they're doing these different type of moves. And yeah, you're a ref, you have different angles, but you don't have that angle that is right there. That's why I kind of like the instant replay also. I mean, people like Allen Iverson, he was a small guy. He'll go in there, he'll bounce off of it. Now he done shot 12 free throws for the game. Even Jokic is skill. He'll get you in that post, throw that shoulder, pump fake, you go up. What does he do?
Yeah.
Throws himself into you and one. So I think it's a skill because Mitchell Robinson is not doing that. He's not able to do that. So it just depends on what you call foul baiting and what you call skillful. Because if you pump faking and instead of just waiting for him to come down and then going back up, you pump fake and now you're throwing your body. Does that count as a bait? So
I think that's almost a bait, but it's drawing the foul too. You guys know this. You guys are basketball. You know what drawing a foul is, and baiting a foul. I think it seems to be clear to most people because now when you watch a team, and I go through all the literature and all the online, it seems like every single night the team that plays Oklahoma City, their coach is complaining or whining, as you call it, about what Shea is doing. And, these are not hacks. This is the Steve Kerrs and guys that have played in the NBA. And I think there's just a difference in the way things are called and the way things are perceived, that they have to level that out a little bit.
Yeah,
And I think
Chris,
they
you're
will.
right. It's a different whistle. You've made that, but that was your first initial question, and it is a different whistle for SGA. But this happens every few years, right? And literally every year, there's always going to be a few guys who elevate to the cream of the crop in the NBA who are going to get that whistle, and it's his turn, and he is very good at it because Dwight and Dot are right too. It's a skill set for him to be able to do that, just like it was a skill set for Harden to not only reach his hands out, but the way he tucked under the ball for all those years and was able to get the foul.
Yeah.
LeBron, was notorious for this for a very long time. So there's no question about it. I'd love to jump in here and ask you a question, but before I do, I want to put a little context on it. I moved to Denver when I was 14 years old in the summer of 1993. I moved from New York out to Denver. And what a time to go to Colorado, so everybody understands what was going on. Like 2 years prior, 91, the Colorado Rockies started. I mean, I saw them play even live. I went to Mile High Stadium before the Broncos ever moved to Invesco Field. The Colorado Rockies before Coors Field were playing at Mile High Stadium. And guys, you're talking like Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, young studs. It was amazing. Like the town was on fire. Especially
Was Galarraga on that team?
Yeah, Andres Galarraga. I think he came a couple years later, but he was incredible. Like that team was young, except no pitching or whatever. But I mean, we all learned about the Mile High ball traveling out of the stadium at that point and what it meant, and that was talked about in the mid '90s. A couple years later, sorry, Dwight, another U.S. team stealing something from Canada, but the Nordiques came down right from Quebec and became the Colorado Avalanche and immediately won the Cup. It was amazing in '96. This is when the Broncos were going on their run right around '93, '94 before winning the Super Bowl in '98, '99. Like Elway's resurgence and his established ideal of like being the quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks ever, because he was on a little bit of a swoon prior to that. So Denver was amazing when I moved there. But even more amazing were the Nuggets, right? 42-40 that year, the upcoming season, and I'm talking like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was on that team, LaFonso Ellis, Dikembe Mutombo, Bison Dele, and like that. I think like Reggie Williams was like the longest tenured guys of like 6 years. This was all a young team. And Rick, you had mentioned earlier in the show like what it was to get a triple-double. How about the 8th seed taking down the 1 seed, right? It was that year in '94 when the Nuggets took down the Seattle Supersonics, right? You remember that? The 1-8 seed. And it was amazing.
Dikembe holding the ball at the end.
Dikembe holding the ball. And everybody was so out of their minds excited about what was going on in Denver and the Nuggets, and everybody expected them to kind of go on the upswing. And now I'm getting to my question here, Chris, because I believe you came a decade later in 2004, right? Like you started calling for the team in
04, 05.
Right? Right. And then Jokic comes in 14. So you had a decade prior to this. And look, everybody watching, for all that excitement on the Nuggets, for all that young team. Robert Pack, by the way, who Tim Legler just the other day called the most underrated point guard he's ever played with, he was also on that team. And I think it was his like second or third year. So incredible team, never went anywhere. The Carmelo years never went anywhere. So I want to hear from you. Maybe you could tell the audience, and I know we've been talking a lot about Jokic, but like, what was your life personally like before Jokic and now after Jokic? What were those 10 years like prior and now the 10 years since?
Well, immediately when I got to Denver, they had not been a good team, and they just changed coaches, and they drafted Carmelo Anthony to the next year, and we had 10 excellent years with Carmelo Anthony. The problem was when we got to the playoffs, I think we only advanced out of the first round like one time. I considered those good years. We didn't have the talent to challenge for a championship at that time. But having Carmelo on the team, he was a superstar. He was a stud. And then, we added pieces. By the way, I never thought Allen Iverson was a foul baiter at all. He was a terrific player, and I think he was legit. When he was bouncing off guys, he was a little guy and bouncing. But Kenyon Martin and Canby and Nene and all those guys, we had some really good teams that maybe could have gone farther with a little bit of luck. There was one season where George Karl, where we had our best team, a team with Chauncey and Mello and Nene and all these guys, and George Karl got cancer, the last quarter of the season, and the team kind of fell apart. But then there were a couple of really lean years from like 13 to to getting there. And having Melo was great. Being able to call all the Jokic games is fantastic. I'll tell you a funny story. So, like on one of the first days of practice, Jokic is in the gym, and Mike Miller, you know who Mike Miller is, the sharpshooter. He's in the gym too, and the word is that he's sitting there and he goes, well, that guy's the best player on the court. And he played like one day, like the first day in the camp, because that guy's the best player on the court. And he pointed right at Jokic. And everybody's going, what? What are you talking about? I mean, we got Nurkic, we got all these guys. No, he's the best player. And actually, it was Mike Miller who gave Jokic the nickname the Joker, by the way, just for the record book. So it's been a great run. People ask me, how many years do you want to keep rolling, keep commentating? I said, I'll go as long as Jokic goes. And then I'll go play with my horses too. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's made it fantastic, and it's been a wonderful ride, and I hope we can keep going.
Excellent.
I love it. All right, Chris. I just want to add a comment on the SGA thing, and then I want to query your volleyball background. I believe, and AM did a great job of saying this. Superstar calls have always been a thing in the NBA. They've always been a thing. Used to piss me off when Larry Bird always used to get the call. I came up a Showtime Laker fan. Bird's complaining. He gets every freaking call. So I can take, y'all back to when I was 15 screaming at the TV. But, I mean, he's Larry Bird. I mean, the love and respect and appreciation's there. You get the point. But there's always been these guys. Jordan got the benefit of the doubt. Kobe got the benefit of the doubt. Shaq didn't. Remember, Shaq always talked to him. He was just too big and went right through major arm contact and wouldn't get an and one. Shaq probably needed to go to the free throw line more. But we've got all these superstars who get superstar calls. SGA is that number one guy right now. They call games differently for SGA. Not every single minute of every single game. It's like an overall vibe thing. It's like, there's contact and Shea's kind of falling away and throwing his arm. There had to be a foul there. There was not a foul there, homie, because a foul is when the offensive or defensive player gains an unfair advantage through physical contact. That is a foul. SGA that's gaining an advantage through artificial contact. Okay, so I love Shea, and I'm not one of these foul baiting guys, and I don't want to take any credit away from him. I just think that he gets more superstar calls than anybody in our game right now, and he's earned it, and to a point he deserves it, but I think it's gotten a little out of control. And I think we need to rein in. By the way, I was just watching a game last week. I forget who the hell it was, but SGA was complaining to the refs several times because he was doing that and they weren't giving him the foul. And I was like, this is the best referee crew I've seen all year because SGA never complains. You know why SGA never complains? Because he gets every call and he's always going to the free throw line. All right, so Chris, let's go down memory lane here.
Hey, let me just add one more thing before memory lane. One of the big complaints here in Denver, and you hit on it with Shaq, is that they're not officiating the big men like they do the guards. They are literally, and they did this with Shaq because I grew up as a Laker fan also. Hugging him, grabbing him, pushing him. And they're doing the exact same thing with Jokic. They put a 6'5" or 6'6" guy, a Caruso on him, and they just have him front him and back into him and hold him. And then another guy comes over from the wing, and then the center comes up, and none of those fouls are ever called. And it's been very frustrating because if you do that to a guard, it's an automatic call. So that has been the complaint in Denver in terms of the way Jokic is officiated. As opposed, and he's big and strong, and no doubt about it. But if you're going to call that with guards and wings, then you should give the big man a break too.
The Lakers did it on Saturday night with Austin Reeves and Marcus Smart. Same thing with Jokic.
Yeah, and it worked. He only got a 30-point triple-double.
That's hilarious. All right. So Chris, so part of the U.S. men's volleyball team that won the gold medal in the 1984 Olympic Games. I could ask you a sarcastic question like, they always talk about how prosperous the Olympic Village is. Chris, I'm not going there. Let's stay on the court, okay? So what was that experience like? Do you have any memories of like a particular match or a play that you made that really stands out? And Chris, I'm curious because, you know, I don't really recall this from back in the day. Were you a setter? Were you the spiker? Like what was kind of your position on the team as well?
All of it, and a big part, not just a part. I was the captain of the Olympic team.
Let's go, baby.
Well, I think I was the captain because I was the oldest player on the team at the time. But we had a tremendous group of young volleyball players. You know, sometimes you just get a group, particularly in college. A group comes in, you get a transfer, and you got a couple guys coming up. You might remember in '84 there was the Soviet boycott. So the Soviets and the Bulgarians and some of the other good teams did not come. We were one of the favorites. I think Brazil was the odds-on favorite. We lost to them in group play when our coach decided to sit out two of our starters, two really good players, in the group play because he figured that we couldn't beat Brazil twice. And if we beat them in the group and then played them again with our full team, that they would have the advantage. So he sat out two of our best players, and we ended up losing to them that night. And then we ended up coming back and played them in the gold medal match and beat them 3 straight. So it was a wonderful experience. You know, some of the little things that you remember from something like that. First 2 nights we played, I was the one that was drug tested. So I was a substitute. And you're in the bullpen. You're waiting to come in, and I'm jumping around, and I'm like jacked up out of my mind. And they can choose anybody they want to drug test from the starters or the subs. And for some reason, they wanted to pick on me. Thank God. It was a negative drug test for both those games. Now, games 3, 4, and 5, they didn't get. No, I'm kidding. So that was that was fun, and you know, it was just the experience of a lifetime. I got on the team late. You know, it was a last-minute replacement for a player that broke his leg in a match against the Russians a month before. And they had an election for captain. I was elected captain of the team, and then a month later, I'm standing on the victory stand. So it was kind of a rags to riches kind of a thing, and it's something I'll never forget. And the USA has been really good at volleyball ever since then. The USA men have won multiple gold medals, and so have the women. So I don't have my gold medal here, but I got some good hardware behind me, and you can probably barely see it.
I made the mistake one time. I asked Steve Smith on the air one time. I'm like, where's your? I said, where's your championship ring? He looked at me like I had 3 eyes. He goes, I'm not telling you that on live TV. I was like, yeah. Oh, my bad. So it's probably best you don't tell where your gold medal is right now here on live air.
You know, people ask that. It's surprising. People ask that all the time, and I don't mind telling them where my gold medal is. It's in a safety deposit box, and the reason it is because a couple of guys on the USA swim team, they were after the Olympic Games in '84. They were talking about, oh yeah, I got my gold medal up on my mantle, and I mounted it, and they got their houses robbed. So after that, I said, well, I'm not going to leave my medal out. You know, a lot of people have them mounted and up on the wall, like let's see when I get that up here, but not with the gold medal. I keep that there. People ask me to bring it out. I took it to my daughter's schools. Sometimes I'll wear it to a game as kind of a joke, and let everybody kind of marvel of it, or on costume day. But yeah, that thing stays in the safety deposit box because it's hard to get them replaced. You can get it replaced, but it's a whole rigmarole that you have to go through.
And the replacement is not the one you wore around your neck in 1984, right? At the podium with the flag and the national anthem and all that. And so, Chris, we have reached the end of the line for now. We would love to circle back with you, playoffs, stuff like that. But Chris, you're a dear friend. Really, really honored to have a relationship with you and have stayed in touch all this time. Chris has been coming on shows, Mad Dog Sports Radio and this and that and all the other, man. As you guys can tell, he loves to talk and he's elite at it. So, Chris Marlowe, we appreciate you. We thank you. And
Well, thank you.
To you and your Nugs.
Thank you, all you guys. It was a great panel, a lot of fun. I hope I didn't talk too much.
Not at all.
Oh, no, you were great.
No, it was great. No, it was great.
I will look forward to coming on again and chatting with you guys and see if you can get Jokic down to 7th on your MVP list there.
All right,
Thank you, Chris.
Be,
Thank you. Great to meet
Chris,
you.
be well,
All right,
my friend.
thank you,
We'll be
guys.
watching.
Thanks, Chris.
The great Chris Marlowe right there. Altitude Sports. I'm telling you, man, one of the best live calls. Yes! A big Jokic 3 or something, like 10 yeses. I love that live call. Oh, that was great. That was great. Guys, it's Rant 30. It's Roundtable Rant 30 Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. I will go first, and I got a brief one this week. Adam Silver, I've been getting on to Adam. Okay, it's time to man up, time to take control of your league, load management, police department, all this stuff. Check. He's manned up. He's got the load management police department. He's flexing on teams because they're lying to him. And he's like, I don't trust you. I don't believe you. So I'm sending somebody to analyze your player and diagnose your player. Adam is winning the tanking crisis. Okay. Has he won? No. He's winning, though. The tide is turning, guys. And I'm so happy about this. It has thrown curveballs at us in fantasy basketball, okay? Because I dropped Cooper Flagg. I thought he was going to get shut down. I dropped Alex Sarr. I thought he was permanently shut down. Typical tanky stuff. Both are back, okay? Trae Young is back. Last year, I would put all 3 man parts on. You're like 2. All 3 man parts on Trae Young not playing at all at the end of the year, last year. And I would have been right. And I would have been a complete human being. This year, it's all different. Trae Young is back. Okay. Ivica Zubac is back. When he was traded to Indiana, ankle, all these DNB, like, man, they're just shutting him down. Kind of like what Toronto did with Brandon Ingram last year, right? And now we see the guy's friggin' all-star, okay? None of these guys would be playing if it was last year, with the possible exception of Cooper Flagg, only because he's a top rookie, and typically they don't get shut down. But you know who isn't a part of this anti-tanking movement? Anthony Davis. To the surprise of no one, you know who else is a part of this, not a part of the anti-tank? Lauri Markkanen. You guys, Lauri Markkanen has not played in an NBA game since 2007. Look it up. You got to go that far back. Lauri Markkanen, I mean, my God, this guy never plays. By the way, I think he's overrated anyway. But the league needs to just read the room here on which teams are playing dudes and which teams aren't. Okay? You don't need to report this. You don't need to tell Shams. Nobody needs to see the data. Just do it. Keep your little ledger. Okay? The NBA tracks all this stuff, man. I mean, for the love of Naismith, they track the amount of dribbles guys are taking. They can track this. All right? So then you stack the lottery in favor of the teams playing their guy. Oh, you're saying you circumvent the lottery and kind of pick and choose who you want to get the top picks? Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying, okay? This is why I was rooting so hard for Cooper Flagg not to go to the Utah Jazz last year. I didn't care where he went. I just didn't want him going to Utah. I hate Utah's tank because Utah has talent. If they actually went for it, they could be PIT. They could maybe get up to 6. Make a couple of moves to get better, but it's just tank. I hate it. It's annoying. People in Salt Lake City, Danny Ainge, are anesthetized by your stupid ass team right now, okay? So and thank goodness Flagg didn't go to Utah. By the way, we've never have heard from him again. They would have Lauri Markkanen'd him. The bleep you tankers need to be penalized. Okay? Just do it behind closed doors, like Patrick Ewing. Frozen envelope. Just do it. Just do it. And then you got the conspiracy theory and in barbershops that are, talking. The NBA doesn't care about that. Okay? Let them talk in barbershops all they want. Okay? Like, remember all the first round picks Cleveland got? Remember that? It was like Anthony Bennett and Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins. It was like 3 and 5 years or 3 and 4 years, whatever. Do you think that was coincidence? Come on. That wasn't coincidence. Okay? How about, was it coincidence when Ted Leonsis bought the Wizards? Bam! John Wall. Was that coincidence? I don't think so. Was it coincidence that the Pelicans took, remember the NBA was operating that team. Benson family comes in, they buy the Pelicans, taking that off the NBA's hands. The NBA loved them for that. Bam! You get Anthony Davis. Was that coincidence? Hell no, it wasn't coincidence, okay? So all you got to do, let's call this the NBA hookup, okay? You literally, and so nobody knows how the lottery balls are and how they determine what the hell is going on here, okay? The law firm of Ernst & Young, okay? Are they trustworthy? I don't even know. I don't know crap about Ernst & Young, okay? I don't even know if they're still doing this thing. But it was always Ernst & Young. Like, they're the gatekeepers of everything, okay? And we just have to trust them like we trust our mom, okay? I don't trust those jokers. They're freezing envelopes, okay? But that's what the NBA needs to do, and that is my rant. We go to Dr. X out in LA. Dr. X. Hit us, man.
Sheesh. Man, I hate to have another
New York Knicks. Go
rant.
ahead, Phil.
Yeah, no. But first, I'll say I'll lead with this. Let's go UConn. Let's go Duke University. Those are my two teams in the bracket, but I think they have to see each other in the regionals. So, unfortunately, I have to go with UConn when it comes down to UConn versus Duke. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start using Rick's term part-time killer, but I'm gonna use it for the wing stop of the New York Knicks. I'm not sure why. Well, I am sure they're just not capable of being consistent. But 7 points each. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges against the depleted roster of the Golden State Warriors. And on that term, on that point, Rick, I also want to bring up why Golden State played their C squad, and that I think should be looked at as tanking as well. I don't see why some of the players couldn't have played, and then the Knicks doing so horribly against them. On top of that, to barely win by 3 points, and I just feel like Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. OG's more consistent, and at least defensively, he makes more of an impact. But I just feel like Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby take days off, take games off. And when their offense is not popping, it's just like, at least get stops. And that's the one thing I just want them to be consistent. I think they're more of a playoff team. Obviously, they have a pretty good record right now overall. But I think they will probably be a better team when it comes to just matching up with the team in 7 games, and I guess we just have to wait for that to happen. But I've kind of just tuned out until the playoffs at this point.
Hey, Doc, I can answer your question. The Golden State Warriors are tanking. That's what they're doing right now. They are tanking. That's why you get this Steph Curry. He'll be reevaluated. And Steph Curry ain't playing again this year. Okay, I hate to spoil the suspense for everybody. Steph Curry ain't playing again this year. It's the freaking Pat Spencer show. Out and go. Have fun with the Pat Spencer show at Chase Center, okay? So, Doc, they have their pick, okay? And so they have a reason to tank. Right now, they're 12th in the lottery standings, but they're in a cluster with Portland and it says Charlotte here. I don't even understand that. But anyway, they're in the lottery right now, so they have a chance to move up and get into the top 4, top whatever, a la Dallas last year. So the more games you lose right now, the better chance you have until they fix this. Golden State right now has a 1.5% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. They have a 7.1 chance of being top 4 overall. If they can really, really lose and get to 10 where Milwaukee is, they go to 13.9% to get into the top 4, 3% to get number 1 overall. And that's only 2 spots up from where they are, or in the standings, the real standings, 2 spots below where they currently are. Hasn't Golden State lost a bunch of games in a row? Aren't they on a long losing streak right now? I thought I saw something about that. They have lost five in a row. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They are tanking. Okay, so that's what's happening here. Let's go to Dwight Walton with his rant, man.
I want to commend Keith Gill, current commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference, and the NCAA, and he's the president of the NCAA committee that chose the field of 68 for this year's NCAA tournament. I want to commend them for allowing or bringing or keeping in the Miami of Ohio team to be in the tournament. They had an undefeated season. They unfortunately lost in the first round or the quarterfinals of their conference, the Metro Athletic Conference this year. And there was an overwhelming concern, including from myself, that that loss would prevent them from being in the field of 68 this season. If you look at their strength of schedule, it might have been the absolute worst in any team that's been in the tournament in tournament history. But the committee rewarded them by having them at the very least in the play-in game this Wednesday. I forget who they're playing, but at least they are a part of the field. We all know who the Dukes and the Arizonas and the Michigans and the Connecticut's and the Houstons and the Kansas of the world. We understand who we want to see in the tournament. This week at the Big 12 conference, I believe they totally forgot about the rest of the conferences and the amount of NBA scouts that were at the Big 12 tournament, because I believe 5 or 6 of the lottery picks were actually in the Big 12 this season. So we know who we want to see. We know who's going to be in the lottery this summer. That's why you see all these teams tanking this season, looking for the draft. So again, I want to commend Keith Gill and the NCAA Tournament Committee for including Miami of Ohio in this year's tournament. We don't expect them to win, but they were 31-0 this season up until last Wednesday. And I'm glad that they're allowing this team to participate. Listen, they have now the onus is on the head coach and that team to make believers out of everybody. There's teams out there who feel that they're better than the Miami of Ohio team, but it does not matter. They're in. All they got to do now is go in there and prove the committee right and everybody else wrong. I am glad Miami of Ohio is in the tournament this season.
It'll probably behoove them that they had their bubble burst and sort of a reality check, right, in the conference tournament after winning all those games, and now you got to kind of reevaluate. I personally don't like picking teams in my brackets that won their conference tournament. I feel like that's a pop, and I feel like there's a lot of times a letdown that comes after that. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Obviously, we're all rolling our dice and throwing them down the table when we fill out our brackets. A.M. Pfeffer.
No rant today, but I do have a shout out before we get out. You might have heard of this guy, Rick Kamla. Guys, you know who Rick Kamla is? Yes. I'm shouting out Rick. Guys,
trying to hide from the camera, trying to hide like Wemby hitting against Jokic last week.
You can't outrun this one. The godfather of fantasy basketball. Let me put this in perspective, guys. He started out our XSN season in the toilet. Don't know what happened those first couple of weeks, but through the ranks to take on me, A.M. Pfeffer, in the championship game. Guys, let me just put a little color on this. Rick, if I can commend you. Look, you got an over 700 winning percentage. You've been doing this, at least on Yahoo, since 2012. 41 teams managed. 29. I need my glasses. 29 trophies, 23 or 29 trophies won. And you get to take on me my second year doing this. You're a diamond level guy. I'm silver. I've managed two teams before. No trophies won. And you know what? I'm going to take you down. I just want you to know that. And I wanted to just shout you out and commend you for taking it like a man. That's really what I wanted to just bring this around. For all your accolades, for what you've done for all of us in the world of fantasy basketball. I think it's great I really do. That you can, when we come together a week from today, you're going to be a real gentleman about it and give me my accolades for winning this league. I appreciate that. To you, Rick.
Well,
Drake
what
May
I can
versus
say,
Tom Brady.
There you go.
what I can say, I'm happier that you're approaching this from that angle, like an angle of sort of confidence, of control, as opposed to sandbagging. Okay, and my team sucks. You're definitely gonna beat me. I have no chance. You've got 3 or 4 more games than me. All of this belly aching by other guys that I go up against. Then they send you that text on Tuesday, right? I'm done. There's no way I come back and beat you this week. And it's like the reverse jinx and the mind game thing. And it annoys me beyond belief. So talk your shit, AM. I'm here for it.
I knew you'd appreciate this, Rick.
I would much rather have you do that than go, oh, man, I got this guy hurt. I got this guy hurt. I got this guy hurt. And like James Harden with some kind of injury before a playoffs.
He pulled that crap. Oh, you're playing 53. He pulled that crap on me. He was like, you're playing 53 games. I'm only playing 48 games. And
first of all, Doc,
saved all his picks.
Doc, you write the checks, man. It was all the psychology.
There you go.
It didn't work. It was just that Giannis in the play.
I know. I wanted you to make it good for a week. I knew it was over the minute we stepped on the court.
I was a victim to tanking.
Rick, man, coast to guy, I appreciate it, dude. By the way, why even play fantasy anything unless you can talk a little shit to the guys you're playing fantasy anything against? Bring it, baby.
That's
7 days
That's what I'm saying.
of gladiatorship. I'm excited.
Don't complain and boo-hoo. Talk shit. All right, like, come on, let's have fun. My team sucks. I have no chance of beating you. It's so annoying. All right, B-Dot. Dude, they say run to the tape, right? Run to the tape. You are running us to the tape. Take us out, man.
Man, listen. Everybody want to talk about the New York Knicks like they the second coming. Everybody want to crown the Boston Celtics already. And, now suddenly everybody hyped about the 3 Detroit Pistons. And, hey, I fell into the hype. I even heard somebody on TV and on this panel talking about the Charlotte Hornets like they a league past dynasty, okay? But the team quietly minding their business, quietly stacking their wins, quietly getting healthy are the Toronto Raptors. And let me tell you why. Because that ring duo right now, Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett, that's a 40-point plus night coming from the wings. Ingram smooth, 7-foot shooting like with a Kobe bag. RJ Barrett, that man, he attacked the rim like he personally hated. Power, finesse, 2 completely different styles, same result. Buckets and wins. And they just proved against the Detroit Pistons. Ingram drops 34, Barrett drops 27. That's 61 points combined in a win. So while everybody arguing about Boston, debating the Knicks, hyping the Pistons, and somehow even bringing up the Hornets, don't look now. But the Toronto Raptors are creeping up the standings, okay? And speaking of Toronto, I got to give some love to my guy sitting right here. One of our co-hosts, Dwight Walton, okay? Now, Dwight knows something about Toronto basketball culture, okay? This man played for Canada's men's national basketball team in the 1988 Seoul Olympics, okay? Representing that Maple Leaf before some of these players were even born. Matter of fact, I know Dwight probably sitting there watching the Raptors like a proud uncle talking about CB Dot. I told you, that's real Toronto basketball right there. And Dwight, correct me if I'm wrong, because Dwight just don't debate basketball. He teaches basketball history on this show. But I'll tell you this. If Ingram and Barrett keep cooking like this, Toronto ain't rebuilding, they reloading. And they can scare a lot of teams in this Eastern Conference, okay? You might wake up one morning and realize the Toronto Raptors didn't just make some noise. They quietly became the problem. And when Toronto starts knocking teams out of the playoffs, don't say nobody warned you, because that take just got X-rated. And I'm out.
And hold on, before you go, Rick, you didn't mention a defensive player of the year candidate. He's not going to win it because Wembanyama has that on lock. But Scotty Barnes, the modern day 5-tool player, he can do it all. Dribble, pass, and shoot. He's a complete basketball player. He's a much improved shooter from distance. But the one thing he brings on a consistent basis is his defensive prowess. He is a nightmare. If you guys haven't seen Scotty Barnes in person, he is a legit 6'10". Trust me, I've seen him. He's big, he's strong, he plays with an edge. Listen, great points about Ingram and Barrett, but Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl, those guys keep that thing together. And if healthy, Dot, they will give issues to any team they play in the Eastern Conference playoffs this season. Great rant by you. Much appreciated.
Oh no, 100%, 100%. I just since RJ came back in that duo, I think they're 16-9 together. Compared to other duos, they're the most efficient. Ingram shooting 47%, Barrett shooting 50%, and against teams in the East, they're in the last 6 games, they're 4-2 versus the Knicks, 2-4 against the Celtics, 3-1 against Miami, 2-3 against the Cavs, and 5-0 against the Hornets, and 4-2 against the Pistons. So. I'm just, this Bears revenge tour, okay? Everybody
they're in the picture. Yep.
Come on now. They talking all that mess about Barrett and this and that, how they should talk about him in the past and, how he shouldn't got drafted the way he is and he's not becoming the player that we thought he'd be. All right, now y'all about to reap y'all words. And, I'm rooting for Toronto guys.
Thank you.
I love it. I have a quick shout out. Joel Glass and Lewis with the Orlando Magic PR department. Get me a credential. I'll be at the OKC at Orlando game tomorrow. Should be very spicy. Last week I was at that Desmond Bain game when they beat Cleveland. And to that point, we are soon going to debate Orlando versus Cleveland in the first round. Like, who wins that series if it's played today? Guys, and B-Dot, I bring this up because Toronto was 5 like all year. They've dipped a little bit to 6 because Orlando has won 7 in a row, folks, and they are climbing. They're 5 right now. The 4-5 right now is Cleveland, Orlando. Ooh, giddy up, baby. So I'm stoked for all that. Also, and Dr. X knows this, Knicks in Orlando is very, very possible in round 1. I love that the Magic have made this interesting. And shout out to Joel Glass and Lewis. I will see you guys on Tuesday night. By the way, Dante Marchitelli, play-by-play and sideline for the Magic TV. I met him I didn't meet him last week. I saw him again last week. He's going to be coming out. We booked him, I think, April 9th or something like that. So Dante Marchitelli will be coming on the show. Mike Fratello, soon to be Naismith Hall of Famer. Mike Fratello, the czar of the telestrator, you know who I'm talking about. He is going to be on the show on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we will see you then at 2 p.m. Eastern with the next edition of Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. For Dr. X, for AM, for Dwight, for B-Dot, for Jason, for Kai, for our great guest, Chris Marlowe, and all of you beautiful people out there, including our beloved Correa. We love you. We'll see you Thursday. We're out.